How's it going, everyone? My name's Aidan. I'm here joined by one of the newest members of the Middlebury Panthers soccer team, Luke Madden. Luke, right off the bat, how excited are you to join the new team?
No, I'm super pumped, man. To be honest, like the decision to transfer, is obviously a tough one. And there's so many things that go into it, leaving all your relationships and that sort of thing. But when it comes to the soccer side, I literally couldn't be more excited to join Middlebury. I feel like we're gonna do huge things this year, and I want to be a part of that.
And I know leaving any team is tough, but with UNH specifically, obviously the team that you made your college debut with, how difficult was it to move on?
Yeah, I mean it's tough when you're on a team that D1 gets ranked, top 15 nationally pretty much every year. And, when you get those minutes, the exposure to play at the next level is great. But ideally, I want to be playing every game and getting as many minutes as I can. And that didn't feel like it was going to be the case there. And that was kind of the major point for me and reason why I had to shift schools.
And why Middlebury then? Like, what drew you to not only the soccer program, but the school as a whole?
So I was actually being recruited by Middlebury when I was in high school as well. And I had a visit my junior year, and I was like, "Holy crap, this place is awesome!" But they wanted me to retake the SAT, and to be honest, I was like, I'm not feeling this right now, and I have a D1 offer from a great school, so I went the other direction. But I did well with my GPA in college, and they took a good look at me, and now I'm accepted academically, and obviously the school and NESCACs in general are pretty much incredible academically. And then to go along with that, the coaching staff at Mid, Coach Elias and Coach Conrad and Coach Emmett and all those guys are absolutely fantastic when I've talked to them, and just make me feel right at home. And that's the type of culture I want to be involved in.
I mean, that's fantastic. And have you been able to talk to any of your teammates yet or hang around with them?
Yeah, so I did a visit this April when school was still in session. They had a training and got to talk to the guys and see them for a little bit, and you can kind of get that sense right away if it's going to be a good culture or not. And right away I was like, yeah, this is a good squad. They're motivated. We're ready to go. So I'm just hoping to add to that.
I mean, that's definitely the most important thing. I mean, what are you most excited about? I know that, starting with a new team, there's a lot of stuff going into that. But I mean, is there one thing you're looking forward to in particular, or is it just the whole experience itself?
I feel like obviously the whole experience is going to be incredible, but I feel like we can definitely make a run. They got Elite Eight last year, and I know everybody's ambitions are even higher than that, and including myself. We feel like we can go all the way, and it's easy to say that before season starts, and obviously there's going to be some challenges along the way. But I feel like with the right mindset, which is what I believe we have, we can get it done.
So, what about that's as a team? What about individually? What are some of your best attributes? Would you say on the field? Like, what can we expect from you this season as an individual player?
Yeah, so obviously it depends, where the coaches want to get me involved. If that's center back, if that's six, if that's nine, who knows? I consider myself quite versatile. But I'm definitely a threat on corner kicks, attacking and defending. I'm expecting this team to not allow many goals this year. I would say our national goals against average is going to be pretty good, if I had to guess. I would say composure on the ball is one of my strong suits, and then definitely physicality, and then as well as vocal leadership on the field.
And I saw that you mentioned that your favorite athlete was Virgil van Dijk. Is that still true?
Oh yeah, he's an absolute animal in the box, just like I try to make myself be. And if you can emulate his calmness in tackles and in tight situations, I think you can be an incredible player.
You would say that you sort of model your game after him.
That would be a pretty big compliment to me, but I would hope to have somewhat of that level.
Does that make you a Liverpool fan, by the way? I have to ask that.
Yeah, I've been a fan since 2016, so been through the rough years and the good ones.
I see. I'm a Chelsea fan, so when I saw that you liked Van Dijk, I figured you're a Liverpool fan. I was like, all right, it's gonna be interesting. But I respect it. I respect it. You've been through the hard times, so I get it. Uh, what about before Van Dijk? Was there any player you grew up loving before you were a Liverpool fan that you sort of modeled your game after, or just someone that got you into the game when you were little?
Yeah, to be honest, when I grew up, I was more of a hockey fan than a soccer fan, and going to LA Kings games and that sort of thing. But when I was watching soccer, obviously those guys, Messi, Ronaldo, I would have the Messi cleats and I'd be like, had the pink and blue cotton candy Messis, and I thought I was like, the man on the field doing step overs and whatnot. But I think I've understood my role a bit better as time's gone on and tried to emulate players that are a bit more realistic.
I see. So you grew up going to Kings games. You still a big hockey fan to this day?
Yeah. I think that's a big part of my physicality is growing up playing hockey and watching hockey. And
Oh, you played as well.
yeah, I played for like 8-9 years, so I played a lot of hockey.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, obviously you can't be as physical on the soccer field. You got to be a little more careful. You're going to get some cards, but I think that obviously feeds into the way I play too.
When did you decide that you were going to play soccer instead of hockey? When was that decision made?
Yeah, so it was actually deciding between soccer, hockey, and lacrosse, and this was probably 8th grade where I was playing all three still, and I really had to make a decision. And I weeded out lacrosse first, and then I continued to play hockey and soccer, and then by the end of my freshman year, high school, I was like, all right, I gotta focus on soccer if I want. This is what I want to do in college.
Was that difficult for you to give the other two sports up?
I would say it was, but also, there's a point where your body can't do all three at once. Even if you're young, just like constantly going to trainings and going to games and especially traveling with hockey is brutal. So that would, get in the way of everything else I could do in school and soccer. And soccer was, because it was kind of something new compared to hockey, actually, for me, I found it much more exciting, and I felt like I was progressing very quickly. So that was something exciting. And that obviously fed into the reason why I wanted to continue playing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've seen a lot of pictures of you playing soccer, and I've always noticed you're always wearing the number 13. So that's my lucky number also. I know a lot of people consider it to be an unlucky number. What made you choose that number?
I don't remember the exact reason, but I'm pretty sure it's because my brother grew up being number 12 and I wanted to one up him. I'm pretty sure that's the reason. But I don't know. I also thought it was cool that people thought it was unlucky, kind of make your own luck sort of thing, and make a name for yourself. There are some great players who wear number 13. I wouldn't say in soccer it's that big of a number, but in other sports for sure. I know Odell Beckham is number 13, and a lot of other big guys.
That's a classic story. I one-upping your brother. That's pretty amazing. Was he playing the same sports as you, or?
He was playing hockey, and I think played a bit of lacrosse, but he was mostly hockey.
Got it. Never played soccer.
I think he played AYSO, but not really. Didn't continue with it. Yeah.
So where did the soccer come from then? Did you just pick it up on your own? Did your parents play? I mean, how did that come about?
Yeah. So my dad played lacrosse in college at Princeton, so he wasn't a big soccer guy. And then my mom didn't play soccer in college. She ran track in high school and before that. So I kind of picked it up on my own. I think a lot of my buddies at school were playing, and I just wanted to be involved in anything athletic and anything they were doing. So yeah, right as I started playing, I loved it. Every form of it, soccer, futsal, anything, I would be down to play.
Absolutely. So you said you grew up going to Kings games. You're from the South Bay, Hermosa Beach, right?
Yeah, so I now live in Manhattan Beach right now, but I grew up in Manhattan, moved to Palos Verdes, moved back to Hermosa, and then back to Manhattan. So a lot of movement, but all in the South Bay. So I'm pretty rooted in the South Bay.
Got it. So I live in Manhattan Beach now. Obviously, we're used to the warm weather, the nice beaches. I'm going to college about a month, and I'm not exactly ready for the temperature. So how did you get acclimated to that, or have you at all? I mean, how long did it take you to get used to weather like that?
I think when you're at a place that you enjoy and you're with people that you love and you're having a good time with, and you make good friends, like you kind of forget about it. Obviously, there's brutal days. Like I'm not going to sugarcoat it. When it's cold and it's windy and it's snowing, like it sucks. And training in that sucks. But like you got to get through that to get to the games and get to the fun part. And there's always greener grass. There's always a rewarding side. And unfortunately, when I was in New Hampshire, that came all the way until April. It's cold until the start of it. It sucks. But it's really not bad when you're doing things that you love. If you're enjoying your classes, if you're enjoying your other activities that you're doing, it flies by.
course, because that was my number one worry is how am I going to survive from growing up in the hot weather and then moving to some crazy cold place. Um, I was going to mention, you mentioned about training in the in the cold. How different is it playing on the field when it's super hot when you're growing up playing a PV and now playing it in New Hampshire and now Vermont? I mean, what's the difference like?
Yeah, there's been some times when the ball has like this icy coating around it, and it's like you go to kick it, it hurts your foot, you head it. It's absolutely brutal to head that ball. Pretty sure it's not even safe, but yeah, so that obviously is a big difference. But in some ways, playing in the cold is pretty great and has its advantages. You don't get as sweaty, you don't get as tired. You can retain your breath a bit easier, and I think you can run for longer periods. So it does have its advantages as well.
Would you say you're used to it now?
Yeah, I would say I'm definitely used to. I kind of enjoy it actually, if that makes me a little weird, but
No, I get it. I mean, I'm sure you got tired of the heat. I mean, I mean, that's good. You're fully used to the weather, the climate when you're playing. That's good to hear because I was definitely worried about that. Um, so going back to the little high school question. So as a former Campbell Hall student, Brentwood was the school that we absolutely hated. They hated us, we hated them. So playing for PV, what's the school that you absolutely hated the most? Because I know you have one. We all have one.
yeah, it was probably Miracosta. Even though they're a little bit further down the South Bay, it wasn't far. It's a 30-minute drive. Like most people would say PV Peninsula is the rivalry, but they were never really a challenge for us. Costa was the big challenge. And every year it'd be Bay League, us or them. And I know they've been doing really well in the recent years. They won CIF Division One, so they've been doing really well. And I know they have a good pedigree there, but hoping the PV boys can bring it back soon.
Yeah, hopefully. You never know. I mean, you're living in Manhattan, in Miracosta country now, so it's.
Yeah, I do train there now, so.
Oh, there you go. See, um, what's your next move after? I mean, I know we have a lot of time before this happens, but after college soccer, what's your plan?
I'd like to continue playing. I feel like a lot of guys say that, and it's tough. It's the 1% of the 1% that make it, so it is not easy. I think I'm driven. I think I can get it done, but the opportunity has to present itself, and I have to do what I need to do in college to get looked at. But if not, I'd definitely like to continue with the game through coaching. I took lots of coaching classes at UNH, and I know Middlebury doesn't offer a coaching major, or a sports major, but I feel like through business and those sort of communications classes, I can still continue that path. And it's something I'm really passionate about is teaching others the game. And one day I do want to coach in college and take a team as far as I can.
That's amazing. I didn't know you could take classes on stuff like that at college. That's really cool. So you want to continue playing pros, or I mean, is it MLS? Is it USL? I mean, what sort of ambitions do you have?
Yeah, so out of D3, not many guys get drafted, right? So that's the thing. It's probably one or two guys every year, maybe. Not to say it's not possible, and not to say those guys don't go on to be super successful. That can happen. And whether it be through that draft or maybe just signing with a USL championship side or maybe looking overseas, I don't know. And I'm sure it depends on the connections that I have at that point and who's seen me play and who can vouch for me as well.
Saw you did some graphic design with a basketball academy, Middlebrooks.
Yeah.
Is that something you'd like to continue? Not specifically, but graphic design in general?
It's actually something I picked up in one of my classes in college, and through using like Adobe Photoshop, I got pretty good at it, and I started doing some edits for like high school recruitment that guys got into college. I would do like their Photoshop edit where like they had that big commitment post, and people were enjoying those. So I got a call from Middlebrooks Academy, did some designing for their basketball team, and I've done it for a few other people, and it's been a cool like little hobby. I wouldn't say it's something I'm going to turn into a real job, but it's a cool little hobby and pick up a little cash along the way.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, Luke, this has been great. I'm glad you could join me for this, and I wish you the absolute best on your new journey. I can't wait. It's going to be a fun season for you.
Yeah, thanks, Aidan. This is awesome, man.
All right, guys, this was Luke Madden from Middlebury Men's Soccer. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.